Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build video. So first and foremost, I want to say grab yourself your favorite snack or drink of choice, hot cocoa, coffee, tea, whatever floats your boat, and make yourself comfortable, get a snuggly blanket, and find a really comfy seat because this is a long one. And I really hope you stick around for the whole build. Or if you don't have the time to do that, then skip ahead and look at the screenshots. I think they turned out, I mean, this is my favorite build as of yet, and my husband says it is his favorite build as of yet, and I am so excited to share it with you. But yeah, so I'm going to be building in the world of Windenburg today, which is the world that came with the Get Together expansion pack, which was the one where we got cafes and clubs and stuff, which I've never used. But yeah, so it is Christmas time, or Christmas season, and last week, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to put a card on the screen. Last week I built a Christmas cottage, and I had so much fun doing that, and it was actually, I think, the most successful video so far on my channel, which blew my mind. But I was really inspired with the whole Christmas build, and so I wanted to do something else. And one of the things that there's not that many things that I miss from Germany, but one of the things that I miss is the Christmas markets. And if you haven't been around for a long time, or for a long time, my channel isn't that old, but if you haven't heard me say this before, I am originally from Germany. I do not live there anymore, but I was raised there, and yeah, I was inspired by the Christmas markets, and so that's what I'm building. So in order to have a Christmas market, I felt the need to build a little town. So this is a German-inspired town square, or a center, and I had so much fun building it. And as it is on screen right now, I did want to mention this. This bridge is, so the walls on the outside are a life edit object that I kind of manipulated with the tool mod to get around this platform, the foundation that I built. And a foundation I was struggling with because I couldn't get the foundation to the same level as the ground. Like, there was always the step up, and it really frustrated me, and I tried for a really long time to make it flat. If you do know a trick to do this, and please let me know, because I really couldn't figure it out. There was foundations that I could do it with, however, those went, like, they had a wall that went all the way into the ground, which obviously I didn't want, because I wanted the water to be able to flow underneath the bridge. So therefore the foundation had to be like on posts or pillars or stilts or whatever it's called. But the bridge is fully functional. The whole lot actually is fully functional. Oh my goodness. I was so excited when I came into playtesting, which was obviously after I had built everything. And everything functions. And it is a lot of fun actually being on this lot. So let me tell you a little bit about this lot, and then we'll dive deeper into what I did when we get to the specific locations. So, this is a community lot, which I have set up in my game currently as a generic lot. So then there is no requirements for the lot or anything. So people will just come naturally, like other Sims will just naturally come in and just do all the things. You could probably very well set it up as one of the custom menus. However, I didn't do that because it stressed me out last time I tried that, and I just wanted to make sure that all the functions of the lot, you know, are working properly. And I thought that if you decide to download this from the gallery, then you can set yourself up with the whole custom menu thing if you are handy in that. I am not, so I didn't really want to mess with it. But yeah, I just saw something on screen that I thought would be good talking about, but now I can't remember. But yeah, so this lot is actually one of the few that touches all the way onto the road, and so I thought, in order to fill this whole space up a little bit better, I wanted to add a little parking lot here. So I did. And something that I really, really liked was that when it snows, 2 of the cars are actually not covered in snow, even though it snows. And then the others are covered, which I actually liked so much because it gave it more this realistic feel of, oh, these 2 cars, they just parked there and their cars are still warm. They haven't sat there in the snow for a very long time. And then the other ones have been here for a little bit, if you know what I mean. And as I was saying that, I remembered what I was going to say before. So there's going to be 2 versions of this lot on my gallery. If you want to check that out, my gallery ID is Vinnas Nook, VINNAS NOOK, and all of the information is always in the description down below. But so there's going to be a, the basic model, I guess, of this will be on the gallery, which does not have the Christmas market. And if you're waiting to see how I did the Christmas market, you're going to have to skip ahead because I built everything first. Really quick because it was just on screen. I had added a live edit object there and I couldn't delete it. And if you ever do that and you can't delete it, there's a trick to it, which you just saw me do. You place a room around that object and then delete the room. And it usually will delete that object, and it did work. But yeah, so I'm going to be building the whole basic structure for everything first. And then after everything is built, I came back in. I switched the seasons to winter, and then I added the Christmas market. And so that version will be separately on the gallery for you to download. But yeah, so let me tell you the things that we have. Obviously, as you can see, we're going to have a church. You can have, so it's currently set up to have a wedding in there. But it also has all the elements that you would need to have a funeral. Next to the church, or in the back of the church, actually, that little bump out, and I forget about that for a long time in the video, so if you're waiting for that, I will add that in the very end. In the bump out, there's a bridal room so that the brides can get ready. It has a little bit of fruitcake in there, so they're snacking, and mirror and a makeup table and all that fun stuff, but we'll see that when we get to it. So there's a church set up for a wedding, but it has all the elements that you need for a funeral. The other thing next to that is going to be a cemetery that has a little, there is currently maybe potentially a funeral taking place. Then there is going to be a tattoo studio. There is a cafe. Above the cafe is a hotel with 5 rooms, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 rooms, actually. Then there is a bar bar restaurant. It's not set up as a restaurant. It's set up as a bar. But to me, I made it look more like a restaurant, I think. And then above that is a event space. And then next to that is a library, archives building. So the reason I built it like that was because I like the community lots that you can go to and you can have a lot of things to do. I don't like going through loading screens the few times that I do, but oh, wait, I forgot something. There's also a nail salon and spa. So yes, I think that was it. Well, and then obviously there's going to be a Christmas market, but yeah, so I like the community lots where you can go to and then you have a ton of things to do. And obviously you can set it up and run it as a hotel if you would like to do that in the custom getaway whole setup thing. I didn't do it like that. And I don't know if that might complicate it, but if you do want to run it as a hotel, you could do that. But the reason I did that was so that if you want to play a storyline of where your Sims go on a vacation to a German town and they want to stay somewhere, they can come to this lot. They would obviously not be charged anything for that, but I mean, you could, take the money away. But you could stay there and then just keep playing, and you can just stay there for a few days because there's a kitchen, or there's not a kitchen, but there's food options, and there's beds and showers and toilets and all that stuff, and then there's the cafe, and there's just so much to explore on this whole lot. so that you should not be bored. But yeah, so it is German inspired. So I did look at a lot of pictures. The town that I'm from in Germany is a teeny tiny small town. We call them cow towns. Um, it's very small. And it did have a few, we didn't have those buildings that you see here with that wood and plaster. They're called Fachwerkhaus, and that is not something that was very popular where I am from. I am from the very south of Germany. I grew up just, a stone throw away from the Alps, and those houses are not very common there. We do have them, but they're very few. Those houses are more a thing that they're more common the more north you go, or like halfway through the country, and usually in bigger cities. So I grew up really close to Munich. There's a few of those houses in Munich, but Munich is more historic in other ways. And I did actually graduated in history of arts, so I should know this. And if any of my art teachers ever find my channel, they're going to be super disappointed, but I do not know my Renaissance, Baroque, or whatever building styles, architecture styles. I could not differ any of those, but it's more like Munich is very much like stone buildings, very intricate designs, and very detailed and stuff like that. So we do not have this. This is more a little bit more north. Anyways, history lesson over. Very unwell done history lesson over. But yes, so I did pull up some pictures here and there, and it's not like I copied anything specific. I just looked at a few different pictures and just got inspiration from them. So I'm not going to put any pictures here on screen because it's not I never did any kind of replicating any of the buildings. It was just for inspiration. And the church, there's so many different styles of churches in Europe and in Germany as well. Like the one in my town, it's a Catholic church, and most of them are going to be Catholic churches there. But I don't know. I really wanted to use those windows that came with the Castle Estates kit, I think was what it was called. I really wanted to use those. There was some church windows that came with the Wedding Stories game pack. Was it a game pack? I think so. And those are nice, but I didn't want to have it be a fancy church. I wanted it to be an old church. Like this whole town area is like an old town. And I had initially thought about, or my plan was initially to put this whole market area in this downtown area of Windenburg, which is kind of on the right-hand side of the map. But those were very small lots, and or where I was going to put it, there's like 3 little lots, and then in between those lots is like a square. But if I had used one of those lots, then I couldn't have, I can pull objects off of the lot with a tool mod, but for you, if you wanted to just download the Christmas market, it wouldn't have worked. Technical difficulties, so I did put it here, and then I really tried to create this I didn't want it to look too out of place, if you know what I'm saying. Like I understand that this is like a teeny tiny town made up of like 5 buildings smack dab in the middle of nowhere. It's like on the left side of the build, and it's a 64 by 64, not on the left side of the build, on the left side of the world. And it's on a 64 by 64, but it's not on that island because that was just too random for me. But I thought that on this lot, it would still make some sort of sense, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, so now we're working on the inside of the church. And like I said, like later on, I'm going to be adding that bridal room. But I was looking for some sort of statue or, something that I could put in the back. And I, at some point, pull out that like guy statue. I think it came with what was it called? Yeah, that guy. Was that the one that came potentially? Was that a base? I don't even know. Look, I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah. So the church is, like I said before, there's really not that much in there. There is an organ. Is that what you call that instrument? and it has all of the things that you would need for a funeral or a wedding. And I did try it out. It works. I mean, obviously, like if you wanted to host, do you host a funeral? You hold a funeral. I'm so sorry. If you want to hold a funeral in here, you just have to shimmy around some things and like take away the aisle and take away the wedding arch and just shove that to the side. Or maybe you can, in that moment, you can maybe just use that little room over there, that bridal room, for a storage room, and just shove all that stuff in there, and then adjust where I have put the funeral items, you know, like that. Is that an altar maybe potentially? I think I'm gonna be pulling it out in just a second. But yeah, so but I think that you could leave the flowers for a funeral. Usually there's a lot of flowers. But anyways, that thing, altar something, I don't know. And so as I was building this, and if you have watched my previous builds, then you know that sometimes I kind of go left and right. Like I'm in the middle of creating something, and then you can see my brain go, wait, I have an idea over here. Or I see something down in the menu and I'm like, oh, I have to put that over there. So that's what's happening here. At this point, I had not planned on adding a cemetery. Like it didn't even occur to me. Why, I don't know, but it it didn't come up in my thought process whatsoever. But and I also completely forgot about that back room there. Like literally until the end, like I came in and I was doing screenshots. I was taking the screenshots and I was like, oh, there's this whole room and there's nothing in there. Oopsie. So then I decorated that room. The upstairs of the church, I wanted it to be there, but honestly, there's just like, oh, that's where I put that statue. That statue, I think, is also gonna be in the archives / library area. So maybe this is like the town mayor or some very important person from like way back when, because as you know, in Europe, the towns are a whole lot older than they are here. Like I always love it when I compare history over here in the United States to the history in Germany. Like it's I mean, obviously like there's a whole like backstory to everything, right? But the towns there are so old that a lot of them, you don't even know who the founder of the town is. Like the town has just been for such a long time. But here, it's like, oh, the town founder, you know, there's statues of them. And so, yeah, kind of, I don't know. Maybe, I almost just said kind of Ahnung, which means I don't know. I have no idea. Just, I'm talking about Germany too much. But yeah, so at this point, I left the church and I am moving on. So the building that we're in now, see here, flag. I found a flag and I was like, oh, that flag should probably go out there. But in this building down here is going to be a cafe. And so the buildings on the outside are very historic, very traditional, very much, they have been there for a really long time, right? So in some of the interiors, I wanted to represent that and pull that whole feeling in. And in some of the buildings, I did like a 180 and I made it very modern, as in, you know, it's been bought or it's rented by whoever and they've modernized it. But yeah, in here, this is going to be the cafe and it's massive. So if you wanted to add something else in here or you wanted to change that into like a candy store or something, you could absolutely do that. But in my game, it is a cafe. And this build was already so long. I mean, I've been building on this for days and for the most part, because I kept having more ideas on what I wanted to do. And so, yeah, it took a really long time. But I didn't want it to be such a long video, so I actually cut out a bunch of footage when I was editing. And I think part of that, what I cut out was I cut out all of the bathrooms. I think I might have left one bathroom in, but there is tons of restrooms on this lot. So there's like this cafe bakery has restrooms, the hotel up, which is going to be upstairs. Obviously, it's going to have bathrooms. All of the guest rooms are going to have their own bathroom. And then the bar has a bathroom or two. And I think that's the one that I left in because I had forgotten about it. Like, I built the bathroom without doors, and I was like, oh, cool, that works. And then I went in and I built the bar. And then after I was done, like long gone, moved on to something else, I was like, oh, well, nobody can get into those restrooms. So I had to go back. But so this cafe, like I said before, like I really wanted it to look very opposite to the outside, to the architecture on the outside. I did still want to have like some element of not, I don't know, a bit intricate. So I picked that floor. The floor is from, wow. I can see it. I can see the tile in the catalog and I forget what it's from. I am so sorry. If I think of it later, I will let you know. The counter is from the Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack. And I'm going to be adding, excuse me, over here in that corner, I'm going to be adding the peacock, which is from the Decor to the Max kit, I think. I think it was a Decor to the Max kind of situation. And pack kit. Goodness. I'm sorry, I got distracted. My phone is ringing. And that throws me off. But yeah, so I gave this, not that it matters because nobody's going to know that, but I gave this cafe the name The Black Peacock. And I thought that was very fitting and it felt very, I wish I was better. Like I've mentioned this before, but I wish I was better with, creating a storyline for things. And this kind of helped me get there. But here's another thing that like really bothers me. Those counters, they came with their base game, but then they did an update on the swatches when the Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack came out. And they they're beautiful swatches. However, my problem is that they don't match the coffee counter. Like the coffee counter has like a dark brown and all kinds of stuff, and then it has like this concretey, stony kind of texture. But the countertops that we got on those counters, they don't match any of that. They don't come with wooden countertops either, like wood on the cabinet and then wood as a countertop. They don't come like that. And so they don't match anything. And that really, really bothers me. Like I struggle with that so much because I need it to match. Like sometimes I like to mix and match, and sometimes I just need something that matches so that it goes well together. And this is not one of those. And it bothers me. This wall is very cluttered. And then over here, oh yeah, I put these little newspaper clippings on there, and I thought, maybe this is like the best coffee around and they've won awards or something like that. And then they have put those newspaper clippings on the wall. Or maybe it's newspaper clippings about the town itself or events that they have hosted here because it's such a big space. This is another thing, like if you wanted to have a wedding here and you didn't want to go into the event space that is above the bar because it's very, I want to say it's more like a traditional kind of interior. If you wanted something more modern to celebrate your wedding, you could go in here and just, bring all of the things from that event space down here, like the dance floor and the DJ booth and all that kind of stuff. And you can have your wedding down here. That would also be very fun. Or you could just host it in the town square. I just thought of that. How fun would that be? I mean, look, this is why this is, I think, my favorite build as of now, because there are so many options and you can really tell a whole story here. If you wanted to make this your home lot, you could do that as well. You could just turn, I don't know, you could turn the hotel into an apartment and you can fully live here. And then downstairs you have a cafe and you just live downtown. There are so many options that you can create so many different stories here. And I just love that. But yeah, I actually don't know exactly if we're going to go into the building that I'm working on right now, which is going to be the bar and the event space, or if I'm going to move on to the archives first. Let me see. I think potentially, I don't know. Well, while I'm watching this, let me tell you a little bit about more of the build. So you can see those rocks in the background just then. And those are the same, those are live edit rocks that I use to create like the, I don't know what it's called, like the walls of that creek. Because I don't know, it feels, when you use landscape in The Sims, it makes everything come alive. To me, it makes such a massive difference. Like, just the whole process in a lot of ways to me is like a trust the process kind of situation. Like, when I first started building this, I was like, well, no, but the walls, they should be looking like this. Like, that's what they look in real life. And sometimes in a build like this, where there's a lot of detail and there's a lot of character, honestly, the more stuff you add and the more you clutter it up, the better it's gonna look in the end. And I feel like I could have done even more, but honestly, I have a really good PC and it was starting to get really slow as I was building. Like, the further in I got, it got really slow, and I was really scared that it was gonna affect the gameplay. But honestly, gameplay works fine. I mean, for me, and I cannot give you the specs on my PC because I have zero idea. But if you would want to know that, then I'm sure my husband can help me figure it out. But yeah, it ran great. So, and then over here on the back side, I was like, well, there's so much room that I still have left on this lot. So I probably am going to pull this creek around the back, and this water wheel thing that I added here came with the, cottage living expansion pack, and it actually spins. So that adds a really nice touch of realism to it. And I think it was about this moment that I thought, we need a cemetery. So this is my cemetery. And I'm pretty sure I cut out a bunch of landscaping. That was one of those ways that I could save on time that you have to sit here and watch me build this. Like, obviously, this took me multiple days to build. It still came together relatively quickly because I don't know, it was just, bubbling out of me, all of the ideas. But I'm not going to make you watch all of the landscaping, and I hope you don't mind that this video is longer. I hope you enjoy it. And, like I've said before, I'm not mad if you mute me and turn on some relaxing music and just watch the video. But yeah. Also, I don't know if I've mentioned this because this is my third attempt on doing this voiceover because my videos kept crashing. But thank you so much, everybody, for 200 subscribers. I think we are at 218 now. I am flabbergasted. I am so thrilled to have all of you here. I hope you enjoy what I'm creating here. For those of you who have mentioned that you would like to see me do some gameplay, I have not forgotten, I promise. Christmas time is crazy. It's super busy, and I know you know that. I'm doing my best. I am working on a few things. Also, I know that last time when I asked about the CC, the feedback was actually so overwhelming pro CC. So I'll definitely be doing that. And one of you had asked if I could do like a, showing you how I download CC. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a pro. Like, half the time I don't even know what I'm doing, and I have to look up tutorials. But I will do my very best. I'm gonna maybe just show you how CurseForge works, because that is a very safe way to download CC if you are not very experienced. And you don't have to mess around with so many things. So I might just do a video on that, because that I can probably explain more comfortably. But if you want me to tell you, give you some ideas for somebody who has good tutorials, just let me know. But as you can see, now I had this idea of, I'm gonna, set it up so that there is a funeral. And at first I was trying to just manipulate the terrain and dig down, but then it automatically gives you this terrain paint of rock on the side, and I really didn't like that. It made no sense to me. It needed to be dirt. So then I just used the basement tool, or the basement walls, to create that hole, and then just covered it in a wallpaper that is like dirt, and then found some debug dirt that I put on the side so it looks a little bit like those piles of dirt. Obviously that's not enough, but you know, and then put a casket next to it and set it all up with chairs and all and tissue boxes, because you know you might need those. Your Sims might need them. And so in the cemetery there's like a half of the cemetery is more like the public area, I guess. Well, this is all public, but it's more like a you know, the standard graves, and then there's more like a expensive, more important or well-known family kind of area behind that hedge, which you can see because it has those crypts or mausoleums, I think is what they're called. But yeah, so next to this dugout grave, there's another grave that I imagine is maybe a little bit newer. They haven't planted a whole bunch of stuff, and I did leave all of this in here just to give you guys some ideas. Like maybe I thought you wanted to build a cemetery and maybe you're not quite sure how to do it. And like American cemeteries and German or European cemeteries are very different. Like the grave site it's not just that there is a headstone and then you can put like a vase of flowers there, although some people do it like that. But usually it comes with like an actual grave that people keep up. They plant flowers there. They have to, you know, keep the weeds out and stuff. It's like a little garden. And I'm sure there's like a historical reason for that, which I don't know. But yeah, so I wanted to represent that kind of European feel into the cemetery as well. And now I'm coming and I'm doing the terrain paint. And if you're sticking around for the whole video, which I really, really hope you do, you're going to see that the terrain paint will dramatically change from now to the end of the video, because there is this bug that randomly deletes all of your terrain paint, which is extremely annoying because terrain paint is one of those things that just, to me, it's very, like, I'm trying to do it very accurately and detailed and with purpose. And so I had to redo all of it. So and I'm not going to make you watch me redoing the terrain paint, but I did have to redo it. So it's going to look a little bit different. I think I used a different gravel texture after. But yeah, that's about this. This grave I have set up that, you know, people just, you know, keep bringing flowers, and I don't know why, but I felt like there was, this was a lady who's resting here, and her favorite color was red. Well, I don't know why. That's what I saw when I was, you know, making this grave. But yes, so let's see what we're gonna put. So in this very long building right here, my initial thought was I'm gonna put a bookstore in here, because for some reason that is always my go-to. Now I could have done a laundromat, or I could have done this, made this the nail salon, but at this point I was not thinking about, like, I couldn't think of anything other than, oh, it's a bookstore, because that's always what I think of. And at some point though, and I don't remember when that happened, but at some point I was like, hold on, tattoo studio, duh, that's what we need. So this is going to be the tattoo studio, tattoo parlor, whatever you want to call it. I never know what the correct way to say, or what the correct term is for that. But yeah, either way, you can get tattoos in there, fully functional. And it's actually a really cool place. Like it was very inspired by the tattoo place that I go to. I have a few, and it's a little bit inspired by the place I go to. Oh, apparently I'm not doing the tattoo studio right now. I am doing the library / the archives. So I say archives because to me, it just, at first I wanted to make this very grand. Like if you would look up archives, German or historic German archives or something like that, I think that's what I looked up. Interior, it was very grand. It was very, you know, stone stairs and big spaces, and that was initially my thought. And then I thought, well, hold on, this building is so small, it wouldn't be that grand, but I still wanted it to look very proper and historic and very purposeful, if you know what I'm saying. So it has very beautifully carved wooden stairs and wooden handrails, and so it like wood paneling on the wall. But here you can see how I'm trying to make that stonework, and it was just the building itself was too small, and it just looked off to me. Really quick, because I just saw it on screen, I don't know if you know how to do that. I always, you know how when you're in build mode and you press the G on your keyboard, that roster, the grid, disappears, and I build without that because it irritates me. However, if you have like a room like here where it's like a 2-story high, you can't hang a light or a lamp there, light fixture on the ceiling if the grid is not on. So if you want to hang a light fixture there, you have to press the G button on your keyboard again so that the grid does show up, and then that will hold your light fixture up so it will be on the correct ceiling. Don't know if this was helpful to anybody. I hope it was. But yeah, that's a little building trick. It's not a trick. That's really the only way I know how to do it. But yeah, so up here is going to be mostly like a studying place. And I also thought, whenever I do gameplay, there is so many times where for some job or career, you need the research machine, or you have to go to a library, or you have to use a computer, and you don't have a computer at home because you're playing Rags to Riches and you don't have money. So I wanted to make sure that there is a lot of different things that your Sims can do here, even if your story doesn't involve going on vacation and staying in a town. If your story is you live a few houses down and you need to go to a library, or you need to use a computer or a research machine, they're going to be in this building, and you can go your Sim can go next door, grab yourself a cup of coffee, go do your studies, and maybe get a tattoo or a nail or a pedicure after. Also, like I said before, the whole lot is functioning, but I thought that I could, that it was possible, like if you had those pedicure stools, chairs, that you could just click on that and hire somebody to do your nails. Do you know what I'm saying? I could hire somebody to give my Sim a foot massage, but I could not find anybody, or I didn't have the option to get my nails painted. I could offer it to somebody. Well, I couldn't because my Sim skills weren't high enough in wellness. But yeah, if you know how to do that, if you wouldn't mind leaving me a comment, how do I get my nails done? Like if I wanted to do that in the game, if I wanted to go to a nail salon and get my nails done, how would I go about that? All right, so I am back. Sorry, I just had to pause my video. My husband called and needed work-related help really quickly. He was like, "Hey, can you lay out dress pants and shirt and like a whole outfit for me? I have to go to a meeting and I'm on my way home, and can you please help?" I was like, "Sure." I'm in the middle of my voiceover, but yeah, I can do that. No. Oh, I hope you didn't hear that. Y'all. Okay. So completely honest, like I've mentioned before, I'm not a tech savvy person, and I kept having issues with my PC today. Well, my PC probably wasn't doing anything wrong. It was just me not understanding it. And I had restarted my voiceover, I think 4 times, and then things just were crashing, or just weren't working the way that they were supposed to. Then my dog was barking. Then my husband called, and they're building houses next to us. And so I really hope this is gonna go well. But anyways, so yes, what I was saying, I wanted there to be a lot of gameplay. I wanted you to not have to travel all the time. I wanted there to be a lot of things for your Sim to do. If you do decide to come to this, if you download it. And so, yeah, this is a library or the archives or whatever. And there's those research machines or research computers. Those are here. There is computers here. Obviously there's books here, but there's also going to be, and I'm not going to be building that right now because I completely forgot about it. But if you've seen that little tower that I just, on the first floor, I just put like a sitting area in there. That tower, obviously, it extends to the second floor, And I completely ignored the fact that it was there when I was putting all the shelves in, and I barricaded that little nook. But I do come in later and I realize it and I'm like, oh boy. And I add a game table in there. So, and also, and I was shocked, it's really like tucked into the corner, but it's fully functional. I was just blown away by how functional this lot was. There was nothing I had to change. And I did play test it relatively thoroughly for me. But yeah, this obviously is completely usable. I mean, you could add a, even if you wanted to pretend that you work here, you could do that. Like, you could make up that you work here. And I don't know what kind of mods are available for all kinds of, whatever jobs, but like you could, what you could do? You could have you could be an author. Your sim could have the profession of an author, and then you could pretend like you work here in the library, and you could just plop a laptop down on the desk and then work here, and then go around and, put away books when sims are done reading, and you can put away the books, and you can pretend that your sim works there while they're actually writing a novel or something. This is one of the restrooms that is going to be in here. I actually completely forgot about this, and the only reason I'm showing you the beginning of this was just, and I might have cut it so that you can't even see it. I should realize that. I put that oh my goodness, what is it called, that closet, that like the broom closet in there. So there is also a woohoo location in there in case that's important to somebody, but it's there. I thought it made sense to have that there, so I added that, and I did go around the whole build, or the library, and add some clutter so it looks like people are actually studying here. And that little board that came with the Growing Together expansion pack, and I love putting that in libraries, because like the library that we go to, there's always like, kids are doing crafts, and they're doing all kinds of challenges and competitions, and my kids love to participate in them, and they're always displayed somewhere in the library, and I love that. So I added that in here. And then now we're moving on to the bar or restaurant. I'm saying kind of restaurant because to me it looks more like a restaurant than a bar, but it is not set up for restaurant gameplay. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there is no hostess station, there is no kitchen, but I mean, you can still get your sims can still get food or like snacks from the bar counter, from the what are they called? They're not called baristas. That's the cafe guy. The barkeeper, the mixologist. They can get, my brain is all over the place now, but you can still get food here. You can come here on a date night, or you can go to the cafe next door for a date night. You can get couples massages in a little bit, because so far I haven't built it. But yeah, I mixed and matched the, I think this is the bar that I go with. And I want to say that is the one that came, no, I don't go with that one. I think I go with this one. And this is the one that came with the cottage living expansion pack. And I put it up together with the bar backdrop display kind of thing from the Horse Ranch expansion pack. And it's kind of a similar-ish wood tone, so I thought it worked well. But I wanted a lot of barrels in here. As you know, Germans are extremely proud of their beer, which is so funny because I hate beer. Yes, I am German. I am actually Bavarian, and I do not like beer. And now I said it out loud, so there. But, all the beer tastes the same, I think. Disgusting. But, so I wanted these barrels, which could potentially hold beer or something like that. And that bar display thing in the back had that, and so I just wanted to add another one. Also, the dartboard is in here, just another activity. And then on two of the tables I put like a little, I think I put a bottle of wine on one, and then this little tray with champagne glasses or something like that on the other one, so that it looks a little bit like maybe there's people sitting at these tables and they're having a date or a dinner together or something like that. So that was my thought on that. So there's a little bit of clutter here and there, but overall, I tend to not clutter my builds too much. And to the right, this over here. So I actually worked at a hotel when I was younger, when I was like 18 or something like that. And it was an old Bavarian, kind of like a country house. And they had turned it into a hotel, and there was fireplaces everywhere. And so I decided I wanted to put something here on that wall, obviously, because at this point I had forgotten the fact that there's going to be restrooms behind that wall and that we need access to them. So I was considering the fireplace, but it didn't work. And then I got this little one that came with the, oh my goodness. Did it come with the fairies Enchanted by Nature pack potentially? Oh goodness, I don't remember, but I could go back and check if you are interested in seeing that. But I love that we got that because it has those like stone plates, not plates, those stone tiles on the floor, and I love the rustic look of that. And so I added that downstairs, and it gave it this charm, which I loved. And then up here is going to be the event space. So this is set up currently to be for a wedding. So you can get married over in the church, and then you can come over here and you can have your party. Or you can have birthday parties up here. I mean, honestly, as I was building this, I was like, oh, you could have a baby shower here and you can decorate it, and it can, it could be so cute. And maybe at some point they're gonna rip down the paneling and they're gonna just paint the wall white, so it's more, it works better for all kinds of events. But yeah, it's currently set up as a wedding venue, or at least for the after party. There's like a punch bowl, and there's those buffet tables, and there's a dance floor and a DJ booth, and everything works just great. And it was so fun to see when I came in here to play test it, all the Sims that came along. Well, they didn't come along, but like, I traveled here, and then since I set it up to be a generic lot, a lot of Sims just came and hung out. And then as I was looking around and seeing they were doing things, like some people were in the library and some people were up here dancing, and somebody was using the DJ booth. So, which was really nice, because that way I was able to see all the things that work, and if the things would work, and then I didn't have to play test all of it. I just was watching them testing it for me, which was really nice and handy. And I think this is the first time that I was using those balloon ball stack things, whatever they are. But I must say I actually kind of like them. And if you wanted to host any kind of other party, birthday party or whatever, yeah, I think it's really cool. Like, if you are going to download this, please send me a message and let me know that you downloaded, and let me know what you're planning on playing in here. Like, what are your ideas? What are your storylines that you're going to play through? I would love to hear that and see how this could be brought to life in your game. I would love that. But anyways, we're moving on to the tattoo studio. So this is the one that I was saying, it was like slightly inspired by the tattoo studio I go to. And, I don't know if you've ever been in a tattoo studio, but usually it's it's tattoo artists, and then there's also piercers. And usually those two go hand in hand. Like, you can get that done in the same place. So I wanted to have some sort of display for all of the the studs and the piercings and the earrings and all that kind of stuff that they usually sell. So I used these display cabinets, and the ones in the middle, they came with the Get to Work expansion pack. And then the ones on either side, they came with the businesses and hobbies. And they were actually, I think, meant to be in the, or for the ink that I'm currently putting in there, for the tattoo ink. And then I used all of the debug jewelry that came with the Crystal Creations pack. And then I was thinking, when you have it set up as a Christmas market, you could have your sim I don't know, maybe they could stay in the hotel and they're crafting jewelry, and then they can have a little stall down by the Christmas market, and then they can sell their crystal creations down by the market, or, you know, put it down here in the tattoo shop. But then they're not going to get paid, but you could at least say, hi, I made that. But yeah, so generally tattoo places have some sort of like a reception area, so I decided to do that here. Really hope you can't hear my dog walking around in the background. My husband came home, changed, and then left again, and he almost came in here and said something, and I waved him off. But yeah, well, that's life for you. But yeah, so some sort of what was I saying? Some sort of reception area. So I just used this side table. I believe that also came with the Get to Work expansion. And then these chairs are again from the Decor to the Max kit. And I think they work beautifully in here. Like this whole, it's very, I don't know if eclectic is the right word, but it's, you know, it's a little bit, this place is a little bit, you know, industrial, modern, maximalist, but then again, it's not, and it's very sleek, but like this weird, not weird. I love this chandelier. I think this one came with, I'm gonna lie, I think it was that storybook. Let me think. I think it was the storybook kids nursery kit thing. Or it might have been the businesses and hobbies. I don't know. Either way, I thought it looked really great. And then there's two tattooing tables, I guess. Both are fully functional. I actually had my sim get a tattoo here so we could try that out. And it worked perfectly fine. And then I just, you know, went around. There's a few clutter items that we got with that pack that came with the businesses and hobbies expansion pack came with a tattooing skill. And there's a few items that we can use to clutter shelves up. But if you ever got a tattoo, you know how much paper towels they use for all kinds of stuff. And so I did clutter up the shelf in between. That is also like a room divider that came with the one of the latest packs. Not the latest one, because the latest one that I just saw was that SpongeBob thing. Y'all, if you are excited to see me build something with that, I'm gonna be super honest with you. I'm not buying that. I don't know the purpose of that. Like, I understand that SpongeBob is very popular still, I guess, for some people, but honestly, I feel like you would have reached more people with the Simpsons pack. Like, even that I wouldn't have wanted, but like, why is that? That is so random to me that we just got a SpongeBob expansion kit. Can I request a Bluey kit, please? I watch Bluey with my kids, and I would love to have a Bluey kit. That would be awesome. You know what? It would have been a great opportunity to put that in the Adventure Awaits kit pack, because Bluey is Australian. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Bluey is an adorable blue heeler puppy girl, and her family are so funny and so amazing, and it's such a great kids show. And my husband and I watch it, and we try and find the long dog. I have a long dog sticker on my car. I'm about to put Bluey Christmas vinyls on my car. Like, we love Bluey. That I would have taken, and I would have paid $7 for it. Not, however, for SpongeBob. So if you are hoping I will build something with it, I am so sorry. I will not be spending my money on that. And my channel is not popular enough to be gifted anything by EA yet. So, did you hear me? So if you if you don't mind leaving a like and maybe a comment and subscribe to my channel, that would be super helpful. I might get there someday. But yeah, moving on, off of my rant. I have a question, actually, because I'm still just building this. I'm just, you know, cluttering up this tattoo parlor. Would you guys be interested in seeing me do any other builds? Like, no, not other builds, like other games. I do enjoy playing Planet Zoo. I haven't played since I've started my channel because I'm very focused on creating content and stuff for that. And I know usually Planet Zoo and Sims communities are very different. but I enjoy building that as well. So if you know, maybe, I don't know, once a month or something, you would like to see a zoo build, I might be down for that. And or do you want me to try out Inzoi? I don't know how I feel about the game, but I probably won't know until I try it. And I personally, you know, I would be interested, but honestly, at this point, I am too busy to just try things for funsies. I will try it if you are actually interested in it and if it was something that would be beneficial to my channel. But if you guys say, no, let's just stick with The Sims, this is what we're here for and this is what we want to see, then just, you know, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I would appreciate your feedback on this. This is when I'm realizing that you cannot get to these restrooms, so I am adjusting, and I have just shimmied things over so I could add a door. And it's very generic. It's just a restroom in a bar. But there is a changing table in there, so if you do come, excuse me, if you do come with your infant, I am losing my voice now. Excuse me. If you are coming with your infant to this lot, now there is, granted, there is not much to do for kids, and I had thought about adding a playground, and I opted against it. But you know, we could add, like, over here by that water wheel, if instead of just more landscape, if you wanted me to add another little bridge and add a playground, and that's something you would like to see, then let me know that. I'm not going to make a whole new video on it, but if you did want to have a version of this also on the gallery with a playground rather than landscape, let me know. I'm happy to add that, or you can do it yourself. But I know that it can be quite tricky to build bridges and work around terrain that was manipulated with a tool mod, especially with me sinking in all of these rocks. It can be tricky to add onto a build like that if you do not have the tool mod in your game. So if you are interested, let me know, and I'm gonna add that for you and then upload it to the gallery. But I was having a lot of room over here, and obviously I didn't want it to just be empty space. So I decided to add another building instead of the playground that I was just talking about. And I added this cute little, I don't know, like, this building has this little overhang over the creek. And this is something that is so common in Germany, that because there's all of those towns and cities were built around water, right? Or not all of them, but a lot of them were built around water. So there's houses that, because the towns are so tiny, it's not like big open areas like it is here in the States. Like, there is very limited room in these towns or cities, and so they're trying to make the best out of it. And so, like, overhanging portions of buildings are so common, but I thought it looked so cute, and this is my favorite building in this whole town area, and I just love it so much. And I also love the fact that it's like off of the square, like you have to go through that little walk through past the cafe and go back here and then get to it. And this is where I'm going to be putting the nail salon, which was actually my husband's idea. Huh, look at that. He's very helpful when it comes to my builds. So he said, why don't you add a nail salon or something like that? That would be so fun. And I had a 2-story building, and then I was like, well, the nail salon is going to be on the bottom, and then what do I put in the top? And then it was filtering the menu for just the spa, the wellness. What was it called? Is it just called wellness? That game pack that came with that. And I decided that I'm gonna be adding some massage tables up top, so your Sims can get massages here, as well as get their nails done, as well as get a cup of coffee, as well as get drunk on what is it called? It's not called plasma. What is it called? Juice, fizzy juice, and nectar. Nectar, that's the one I was looking for. I was trying really hard here to add some more windows from the actual Get Together expansion, but they didn't fit right and I didn't like it. And then I added one of the big windows over here, and I loved the way that the sunlight was flooding that room, and it just looked so pretty, so I added another one. And then I added to that brick wall, I added just some wooden pillars, and I have never done that before, but it looked so nice because it kind of matched the whole build style. But it's more of a way that you can create your custom walls like that. And if you don't have that expansion pack, but you really, really want that wallpaper, this is a way that you can kind of recreate that. You just use a brick wallpaper and some wooden pillars, and you can kind of create your own, whatever that wallpaper is called in English. And then this herringbone, it's actually not a herringbone. It's the same flooring that I used over here in the library. It's just that diagonal floorboards. If you would like to recreate that herringbone and you don't know how to do that, so what you do is that you take the floor and you just go one row instead of filling the whole room. You just go one row from the front to the back, and then you push either the comma or the period on your keyboard, and it will rotate that floor tile one time. And so then it will be angled in a different way, and then you go in between all of the empty row. Does that make sense? So if you have your grid, you do one grid row full of one orientation of the floor tile, and then you do the next one over. So you leave one grid row empty, and then you do the next one over, and you do that until you have every other grid line. And then you push the period button on your keyboard, and it will rotate your floor tile, and then you just fill in all of the ones that are empty. I hope that made sense, and I will hope that was helpful. I'm really not the best person to explain things. I'm realizing that now. But yeah, we're on the interior. The chairs that I've used in that little waiting area are the ones that came with that Modern Retreat kit that came out. It was one of the creator kits that came out about 2 weeks ago or last week. And then here on the table, like these tables are obviously not functioning for getting a manicure, right? But I wanted to add them because I feel like a nail salon without tables like that just does not look right. These are the functional ones where you can get your pedicure and you can get your manicure. And if you know how to do it, then please let me know, because I could only offer it to people, like I said before. But I needed to have those desks because they just make it look more real. And I did this little thing that is really hard to see, but those little kind of L-shaped upside down little lamps, I put the light to blue to kind of reference those LED lights where you get your nails, like your gel polish hardened and stuff. So I did that, and I was really proud of that little idea that I had for that. And then over here is that one wall that every nail salon has, where there's all the colors of the rainbow that you can get your nails painted in. And the name of the nail polish, and the only thing that I cut out here was that trick that I have learned from Jessica Pye. If you have not found her YouTube channel yet, I highly suggest you check her out. She's an amazing builder. She's so creative, and if you enjoy storylines, she has really, really good storylines usually for her Sims. But I highly suggest that you would check out her YouTube channel, Jessica Pye. If you have any more questions about that, leave me a comment, and I'm happy to point you in the right direction. There's a few creators, and last week some of y'all have asked about other creators, and I'm always happy to, guide you to somebody else's channel, because there's so many amazing creators out there, and I think they all deserve their credit for the things that they have come up with, and also it helps them. The more views you get on YouTube, that's how your channel grows, and that's how your channel reaches more people to view what you're and watch what you're creating. And that's really, to me, that's what it's all about. Yes, I love seeing that number rise, but I love it because it means that I did something that other people can enjoy, and that brings me so much joy. And I feel like we're becoming friends, even though we don't know each other, and it is just such a nice feeling. And so I love that, and I hope you support some other creators as well. But yeah, this you could see it here on the table again, what I was just saying about Jessica Pye. She uses like a bottle or she usually uses the bottle because it's a very small item to clutter up a countertop so that the Sims can't put anything there. And then you size it down with the tool mod as small as you can. And so it visually disappears, but it's still taking up that space, that grit. and nothing else can clip to it, so they won't put dirty dishes or books or anything on those counters. So if you do have the tool mat, that's a great idea. If you don't have the tool mat and you want to kind of try and do that, you can also use the that square or that edgy bracket on your keyboard to make items bigger or smaller. Usually you can only reduce the size as a certain amount. Like, you're not going to be able to get them too small, but maybe you can get it just small enough to get it kind of sort of out of your way visually. But yeah, so we're on the second story of the nail salon, which is where you can have your massages. You can get your massages. And I did put like a little tea kettle here so that, you know, if you're, I should have probably put like a chair here, but there's little chairs in each of the rooms, booths, whatever you would classify that as. I don't know. There's little chairs so your sim can grab a tea here while they're waiting for their massage and sit down. And there's bathrobes, and I had to change out the curtains here because I just didn't appreciate, like, the ones that I was using, they kind of curve at the bottom, so you can see that they're kind of like laying on the floor. And if they're free hanging over a staircase, they can't touch the floor, so it's not logical to me and it's not realistic, and so I had to change it. And yeah, I just put a little bit of clutter. I understand that this is a salt bowl or a seasoning or something like that, but I thought maybe, you know, it's a body scrub. It's for like a specific massage. It's a body scrub. It's like a sugar scrub or something like that. Or maybe it's just, I don't know, something that smells good. Maybe it's not even a powder or a scrub or anything. Maybe it's something entirely different. Maybe it's lotion. I don't know. But I thought it was a neat thing to use to clutter up the space with. And other than that, I just put a bunch of jars there and a comb, whatever the comb is for. I have no clue. And then over here, I added a bigger table and this little neck pillow because for some reason that made sense to me. Not like it's titled a pillow. Who would lay on that? What would you do on a rectangle pillow like that? Like, oh, does that go like just behind your back? You know what? Maybe I've just been looking at it completely differently. But yeah, that is the spa done. And we are getting towards the end. I left not the whole footage of me landscaping this in, but I did leave a bit just so you can see how I do it. So I just picked some plant. I start with the framing of this whole, like, but do you see the difference? Like, if I would just leave it with the terrain manipulation, it would have this odd shape. And this makes it, to me, it makes it look much more realistic, like the rock work and stuff. And then adding plants in it, it just makes such a difference. So I left that in for you to see if you are interested in seeing that. But the rest of the landscape, I promise I cut out. And as you can see in the background right now, all of my terrain paint has vanished. So I have to redo that. I think I'm going to do that off camera as well. Well, I did it on camera, but I'm cutting it out. And I think the next thing that we're going to be doing is me coming back and adding the magic for the Christmas market. So, am I actually going to make you watch? No, I didn't. Okay. Oh yeah, this little area back here. We could add a swing here. I don't know. I felt like it was a bit random, so I added this little stage. So if your sim is a musician, they can come here, you know, grab a cup of coffee, and they can perform here. There's a microphone and there is a guitar. So there's a lot of things that they can do here on the lot. And yeah. So when we do get started on gameplay, this is definitely one of the lots that I'm going to be visiting a lot, I think. Even though I'm not a huge fan of when you're playing like the whole like, oh, I'm going to go to this world and now I'm going to go to the beach real quick. Like, that's not logical to me. That's not realistic. But I did leave this part in because I wanted you to see this. I did, for the most part, I think, without the tool mod. So if you ever wanted to like fill up a gap, if you have manipulated the terrain. Oh, I forgot the hotel. Never you mind. We're not done. We're not even close to the magic. But yeah, so I covered that gap in the terrain with grass just by raising it with a 9 and the 0 key, you can raise and lower objects without having to use the tool mod. And for the most part, it works pretty fine. But yeah, so up here, if you go through this little archway, before you get to the nail salon, there's a staircase in the tower that leads up. And here I added a little well because I felt like that would make sense back here. It was a nice placeholder. Not placeholder, place filler, space filler. And this is where the entrance to the hotel is. Now, this is not like a full-scale hotel, but it does, I'm going to count because I think it has 5 or 6 guest rooms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it has 5. Okay, so there's 5 bedrooms up there, and they're all pretty much the same, like different layout, but they have exactly the same furniture. They have the same lights. They have the same beds. They have the same curtains. Like everything is exactly the same because, first of all, this video was getting long enough as it was, and I really didn't feel like doing individual bedrooms. Secondly, realistically, if you're furnishing a hotel, you're gonna go with something that is economical and you're gonna buy in bulk. So you're gonna buy 30 of the same lamp rather than picking through and picking different lamps, at least in a not super high scale hotel like this one. This is more like a guest house than a hotel as well. It doesn't have a kitchen. Like they have like a little morning buffet, I think, which I don't know this, but maybe you do. If you do add this little buffet table that I will be adding in the lobby, does it give you different food at different times of day? Like if you are serving food on that buffet table in the morning, do you get like scrambled eggs and bacon and stuff like that? Or do you always get turkey and mac and cheese and stuff like that? I would be interested in knowing that. I left a little bit of my process in here because it took me forever to come up and be okay with like a color scheme and everything. But this is what I'm sticking with. But I did leave some of my struggle in there because I'm not kidding you. It took me a solid 10 minutes to figure this out. And I don't think it's on screen, but I did come back in here and I added a telephone. One of those telephones that it's part of the base game, but it did come with, it was like one of those playthrough events. And so I went through all of the rooms and I added that telephone because I thought it makes sense. And then I'm going to show you one bathroom that I have furnished, and they are also all identical. Some of them have windows, some of them don't, most of them don't, honestly. And they all have toilet paper. I didn't forget it this time. But yeah, very generic. And then there's a hallway. In the hallway, I did something that I thought was really cute and that I have not considered before. But you know how we got that little wall decoration, the little numbers, like house numbers that came with the Love Struck. Is that what it was called? I think it was called Love Struck. The Ciudad El Dorado or something world. I don't know. It came with that little wall decoration. It has the numbers on it, and I sized them down ever so slightly, and then I put them next to the doors. So those are the doors, the room doors. And that is, I'm sorry, my phone is ringing again. Hope you didn't hear that vibration. But that is what I added. And then there's a little bit of a reception here and some tables and that buffet table. And here was when I was looking for something. You know how in hotels there's that, or it used to be like that. I don't think it's still like that. But there used to be like behind the reception, there used to be always this shelf that had those little hooks on it with all of the keys. That is what I was trying to find something that could represent that, and I was struggling a lot. And I thought of this little tea shelf because it has all of these little tiny compartments, and I thought if I sized it down, maybe it would work. And then I found this one, which came with a comfy gamer kit. And so I thought maybe I could put that on the wall and kind of represent it, but then nothing hung on it. And then I found this, which came from the Snowy Escape expansion, which came with that Japanese-inspired world. And I thought it kind of looked cute. I don't know. It kind of gave me that guest house kind of vibe. So I left that. And then other than that, there's 2 tables with a few chairs, a little bit of decoration. Above the, excuse me, above the buffet table, I put like a collection of pictures. I think it came with the cottage living expansion pack, potentially. And it had like a picture of a man in there. And I thought maybe that's the same guy that has a statue in the church and in the library. Yeah, I've been talking for such a long time. This is a trick. I don't know if you just saw that. You cannot size down regular countertops, but you can size down the bar countertops, like the ones that have that little overhang. You can size those down, and if you put a computer on it and you size it down enough, and you can do that with a bracket key, you can then put the computer on that size down countertop and then slide it over another one. It is not that computer will not be working, but if you wanted to create that visual, that will work. Okay, so now that I'm very much losing my voice, we are in this little tiny room, this little chamber in the back of the church, and this is the bridal room where your bride can get ready. She can put her jewelry on, she can put some finishing touches on her makeup. I did add a few personal things like her phone and her keys, and then I've added that hourglass because I was like, maybe that's the rundown. Like, this is when you have to get ready, and I thought that was kind of a neat little thing to add. And then I added fruitcake because I was like, and I picked the fruitcake not because fruitcake is realistically something you would eat at your wedding, but it has this little broken off piece in one corner, and it kind of looks like somebody's been snacking on it, and I thought maybe the bride, to calm her nerves, she's just munching on that fruitcake. And I added a mug, like, you know, she's having some tea or coffee or champagne, and then just some other items. And this is also fully functional, so your bride can actually go in there and do her makeup and put on her dress, and that's pretty much it. I think I'm gonna add like a rug to make it more comfy, cozy in here, and then that's that. And the last thing that we're gonna be doing, you can see it outside already. I came in through the live menu now, and now we're adding the Christmas market. Now here's the thing, these are theoretic. So in a Christmas at a Christmas market, there is these specific wooden booths that you use, and then that's where you display all of the things that you're selling. However, the wall height that I used for the first floor is the medium high wall. And now that I'm talking about it, there might have been a different way that I could have done it. However, this is where we are, and this is what we're doing. So I used half walls, just high enough to be about the same height as these little hutches that came. Not hutches, that's not what they're called. Those little huts. And then I used wall awnings, and I shimmied them in the middle so that they look like roofs, and then I raised them up with the tool mat, and these are the ones that came with the Snowy Escape, and I raised them up because they had the thickest trim, so it was kind of hiding the fact that the wall doesn't go all the way into the roof. And then I added some pillars here to, you know, finish up the wall. And I put a selling table in there. And that's the reason I didn't do just those pre-made little huts. I wanted your Sims to be able to actually have their own stall here and sell their own things. So there's one of the stalls, this one, where you can sell waffles. And then there is that one over to the right hand, well, now to the left hand side, straight in front of us, where you can sell your jewelry or other things that you have crafted. You can sell your pottery there. There is already a pottery shed there, but if your Sim wanted to sell something, and even though they are in these sheds, they are still fully functional. I have play tested everything, I promise. It works, and I am just baffled that it did work. And then there's always, you know, obviously there's always a lot of lights. And we're missing a tree. And the tree, traditionally in my hometown, there is actually a fountain in the middle of the square. And they just built this massive tree structure around the fountain. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing as well. So yeah, there's 2 of these selling tables that you can use. for your Sims to sell all kinds of things. And then there is one of the Home Chef Hustle food stalls. So you can either buy things at other Sims little huts, or you can have your own little stall and sell things at the Christmas market. And I had so much fun building this, and I really, really hope you had fun watching it, and I hope that you're going to download it and make it part of your game and are able to tell all of the amazing stories that you can come up with your Sim. But this is when I'm going to be adding the Christmas tree. I was considering this one, but I went for that one because it was just more, it was just fancier. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to add some more Christmas stuff. But this is pretty much it for today from me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end. I hope you stick around for the screenshots too. They're so nice. If you want to download this build from the gallery, my gallery ID is Nook, VINNASNOOK, or you can find my builds under my hashtag #VinasNook. That information is always in the description down below. If you have any questions, please send me comments. I love to hear from you. Please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more, and I'll see you next time in the Nook. Bye guys.